The January window is starting to take shape at IBROX, and while the headlines might not yet be flying in at full speed, there is already movement behind the scenes that tells us exactly where Rangers are heading. After the emotional high of that Old Firm victory, the kind of result that shifts belief inside a dressing room and reignites confidence among the supporters, attention has naturally turned to what comes next. Momentum in football is fragile, and everyone connected to the club knows that what happens off the pitch over the coming weeks could be just as decisive as what happens on it. There has been a lot of talk about signings, about a possible surge of activity as Rangers look to strengthen for a genuine title push, but the reality so far has been quieter than many expected. That does not mean nothing is happening. In fact, Rangers have already agreed their first piece of January business, even if it is not the type of arrival that gets fans rushing to social media in excitement. This is about squad management, about correcting a situation that has not worked as planned, and making sure the club is not carrying problems into the second half of the season. Oscar Cortez is at the center of that discussion. Rangers have moved to recall him from his loan spell and immediately line up another temporary move, this time taking him far away from Glasgow and Spanish football. It is a clear indication that his current path simply was not working. When he first arrived, there was genuine optimism. During that initial spell, there were flashes of quality, moments where you could see why Rangers committed to bringing him in permanently. The obligation to buy was triggered, a significant investment was made, and expectations followed naturally from that decision. Since then, though, it has been a frustrating story. Injuries have interrupted any rhythm he tried to build, and when opportunities did arrive, he struggled to find consistency in a Rangers shirt. His loan in Spain was meant to give him minutes, confidence, and continuity, but that has not materialized either. Limited game time and a lack of impact have left Rangers with little choice but to reassess. Cutting the loan short and finding a new destination is not an admission of defeat, but it is an acknowledgement that a different environment is needed if there is any chance of salvaging value from the situation. The proposed move to Argentina, with Atletico Huracan emerging as his next destination, represents a fresh start in every sense. A new league, a different style of football, and a clean slate mentally. From Rangers' perspective, the key element is the option to make the deal permanent. Recovering the full fee paid is unrealistic, but even a partial return would ease the burden of a transfer that simply has not delivered what was hoped. At his age, there is still time for him to rediscover form, and if that happens elsewhere, Rangers will be watching closely. This decision also fits into a broader pattern of the club trying to streamline the squad. For too long, Rangers have carried players on the fringes, individuals who neither contribute regularly nor generate value in the market. January offers a chance to address that, and moving Cortez on, even temporarily, is the first step in what could be a busy period of reshaping. Outgoings are just as important as incomings when it comes to building a balanced and competitive group. While the transfer talk continues, the atmosphere around the club has changed noticeably in recent days. The win over Celtic did more than deliver 3 points. It restored belief. It reminded everyone that Rangers are still very much alive in this title race. The gap at the top has been cut, the table looks far healthier, and suddenly there is pressure on those above rather than on Rangers themselves. Performances have improved, intensity levels are higher, and there is a sense that the players are buying into what the manager is asking of them. That improvement, however, does not erase the need for reinforcements. The manager has been honest about the state of the squad earlier in the season, and while results have picked up, there is a recognition that depth and quality are still required to sustain a challenge across the remaining months. Injuries, suspensions, and fixture congestion have a habit of exposing weaknesses at the worst possible time, and Rangers cannot afford to be caught short if they want to keep this momentum going. Midfield is one area where speculation has started to grow. Despite solid performances from those currently in the rotation, there is an awareness that changes could be coming. Some players are edging closer to the exit, while others have struggled to secure consistent minutes. In that context, the emergence of Emil Bohinen as a potential option makes sense. A temporary deal would provide cover and experience without committing the club long-term, offering flexibility as plans for the summer begin to take shape. What is striking about the current situation is how finely balanced everything feels. Rangers are not in crisis, far from it. They are riding a wave of renewed confidence, driven by strong results and a growing belief in the manager's methods at the same time. There is no room for complacency. The league remains competitive, margins are tight, and one or two missteps could quickly undo the progress that has been made. That is why decisions taken in this window matter so much. Moving players on who are not contributing, adding the right profiles to strengthen key areas, and maintaining harmony within the squad are all part of the same puzzle. Rangers have shown on the pitch that they can compete. The challenge now is ensuring that what is happening behind the scenes supports that ambition rather than holding it back as the season enters a phase where every match carries added weight and expectation. As Rangers prepare to move deeper into this demanding stretch of the season, the focus naturally shifts from what has already been achieved to what must be protected and built upon. The recent surge in form has not happened by accident. There has been a clear shift in energy, a sharper edge to performances, and a collective belief that had been missing earlier in the campaign. Players look more assured in possession, more aggressive out of it, and more willing to take responsibility in key moments. That kind of transformation does not come overnight, and it underlines why maintaining momentum now is absolutely critical. Away from the training ground, conversations continue about how best to support this progress. Recruitment is not just about adding bodies. It is about finding the right balance between experience and hunger, between immediate impact and long-term planning. Rangers know that any additions must fit the structure that is beginning to take shape rather than disrupt it. There is no appetite for panic moves or short-sighted decisions. Instead, there is a sense that the club wants to be precise, to strengthen where needed, while trusting those who have earned their place through recent performances. That trust has been rewarded on the pitch. Several players who faced criticism earlier in the season have responded positively, showing resilience and a willingness to adapt. Competition for places has increased, standards have been raised, and that internal pressure is often just as valuable as a new signing. Still, football has a habit of testing squads at the most inconvenient times. A couple of injuries or a dip in form can quickly expose a lack of depth, particularly in key areas like midfield and wide positions where intensity and work rate are non-negotiable. This is where smart squad management becomes essential. Potential departures, whether on loan or permanent deals, are part of that equation, allowing younger players to gain experience elsewhere, clearing space for new arrivals, and reducing wage commitments all contribute to a healthier environment. Rangers have been guilty in the past of holding onto situations for too long, hoping they would resolve themselves. The early decision regarding Oscar Cortez suggests a more decisive approach, one that prioritizes the needs of the team over sentiment. On the pitch, attention turns to the next challenge, and it is not one to be taken lightly. Trips away from home in the Scottish Premiership are rarely straightforward, regardless of league position. The intensity, the atmosphere, and the expectation that Rangers must dominate can create a different kind of pressure. These are the matches that define title races, not the high-profile fixtures that everyone circles on the calendar, but the ones where patience, discipline, and belief are tested over 90 minutes. The current mood within the squad suggests they are ready for that test. Confidence has returned, but there is also a sense of focus and understanding that nothing has been won yet. That balance is crucial. Too much emotion can lead to complacency, while too much caution can stifle momentum. Finding the middle ground is the mark of a team that is maturing together, and Rangers appear to be moving in that direction. What happens in the coming weeks will shape the rest of the season. The league table is tightening, pressure is shifting, and every result carries added significance. Rangers have placed themselves back into the conversation through hard work and improved performances, but staying there requires consistency. It requires backing up big wins with professional displays against stubborn opponents, and it requires the club to be proactive in addressing any weaknesses that could undermine the progress being made. There is a sense that something is building, not just in terms of results, but in identity. Supporters can see it, players can feel it, and opponents are starting to recognize it. The challenge now is ensuring that this resurgence is not just a brief moment, but the foundation for a sustained push. With careful decisions, clear communication, and continued intensity on the pitch, Rangers have the opportunity to turn renewed belief into something far more tangible as the season continues to unfold. The feeling around IBROX at the moment is one of cautious optimism, shaped by recent performances, but grounded in the understanding that the hard work is far from finished. Rangers have given themselves a platform, nothing more and nothing less. From this point on, every match becomes a test of character as much as quality, and the way the squad responds will define how this season is remembered. Confidence is a powerful tool in football, but it must be controlled and channeled if it is to carry a team through the long weeks ahead. Inside the dressing room, there is a growing sense of accountability. Players know that standards have risen and that slipping back into old habits will not be tolerated. Training intensity has increased, competition for starting places is sharper, and there is a clear message that reputations alone will not secure a place in the side. That environment often brings the best out of players, particularly those who thrive on responsibility and pressure. It also exposes those who are not quite ready to meet the demands of a title challenge, which is why the coming period will be so revealing. The calendar offers little room for error. Matches arrive quickly. Knee recovery time is limited, and mental focus becomes just as important as physical condition. Rangers will need to manage minutes carefully, rotating where necessary without losing cohesion. This is another reason why the club continues to explore options in the market, not out of desperation, but to ensure that the squad can withstand the inevitable strains of a demanding schedule. Depth does not guarantee success, but a lack of it can almost certainly undermine ambition. There is also a broader psychological battle unfolding. Rivals are watching closely, aware that Rangers are gathering momentum and feeding off renewed belief. Pressure shifts subtly with each positive result, and how that pressure is handled can influence the direction of a title race. Rangers have been on both sides of that equation in recent years, and those experiences, both positive and painful, could prove invaluable now. Learning from the past is essential if mistakes are not to be repeated. Supporters, too, have a role to play. The connection between the stands and the pitch feels stronger again, driven by performances that reflect effort, commitment, and purpose. That energy can lift players in difficult moments, particularly in tight matches where margins are slim. At the same time, patience will be required. Not every game will be fluid or comfortable, and there will be moments when grinding out a result matters more than style. As this phase of the season unfolds, my Rangers find themselves with an opportunity that did not seem as realistic. Not long ago, the foundations are being laid through improved performances, smarter decision-making, and a clearer sense of direction. What happens next will depend on whether that foundation is reinforced with consistency, resilience, and the right support at the right time. As the demands increase and the stakes continue to rise. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. James Tavernier has set tongues wagging across Glasgow after what insiders are calling an unprecedented incident at IBROX. According to whispers from within the Rangers camp, the club captain reportedly crossed a line that has left teammates fuming and staff scrambling for damage control. Sources close to the dressing room claim that no one, absolutely no one, has accepted or condoned Tavernier's latest actions, sparking speculation that tensions at the club could be at a boiling point. Fans are already buzzing on social media with speculation ranging from fiery confrontations during training to disagreements over team strategy or off-pitch matters. One unnamed source hinted that the skipper's behavior might have caused a rift within the squad, leaving some of Rangers' key figures questioning leadership dynamics and their own place in the team. It's not just about one incident, the insider is quoted as saying. It's about a pattern that's pushing people to their limits. The lads are shocked, and nobody saw this coming. The timing couldn't be more dramatic. Rangers have been navigating a challenging spell in domestic and European competitions, and the idea of a fracture in the dressing room only fuels the rumor mill. Supporters are now speculating whether this is the start of a wider fallout, with some suggesting the captaincy could be under threat if tensions continue to mount. Analysts are weighing in, debating whether this could mark a turning point in the team's dynamics or merely a temporary blip blown out of proportion by the press. Even beyond the club, football circles across Scotland are watching closely. Tavernier has long been seen as a talismanic figure for Rangers, leading from the front with both goals and leadership, yet these recent developments have cast a shadow over his previously unshakable image. Could this be the spark that reshapes the squad, or will it blow over as a storm in a teacup? The truth remains murky, but one thing seems certain. Nobody in the Rangers dressing room is taking this lightly. Speculation is mounting, and eyes are fixed on IBROX to see how the club will navigate this crisis and whether Tavernier can salvage his standing among a squad reportedly rattled to its core. The coming weeks promise to be tense as insiders suggest that conversations behind closed doors could define not just Tavernier's future, but potentially the harmony of the entire squad. In the meantime, the Scottish football world waits, divided between disbelief, curiosity, and anticipation for the next twist in what is already being called one of the most intriguing off-pitch stories of the season. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned